So I'd like to tell you a bit about the big secret behind drawing, and why it is that some people can do it and some people can't do it. Now, the common preconception is that it's about some kind of God-given talent, and that we're either born with this ability or we're not. And the fact is that when we are little, when we're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, kind of peters out at that point, we can all draw, right? We're all confident drawers. We pick up a crayon and we know exactly what to do with it, and then we lose that ability. Then as adults, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, we go back and we try to pick up the same skill. And we pick up a pencil intermittently, right? Not in a kind of determined, regular way, but just occasionally. We pick up a pencil usually, and we just start to try to draw. So we're picking up from where we stopped many, many years before. And we're surprised that the results are not very good, that somehow this magical talent doesn't seem to have visited us again. Now the fact is, A, you're really out of shape in drawing because you haven't done it for so long. But even at your best, when you were 7 or 8 or 9, your drawing skills were still not what you would like them to be as an adult. So at best, you'd be picking up from where you left off, but more likely you'd actually have regressed even further. So it's not really surprising that you're not good at it right away. So my first thought is that it's really about kind of developing a habit and putting some time into practicing. And to do that, you have to accept the fact that a lot of the drawings you do at first are going to suck because you haven't done it for so long. And honestly, you don't really know what you're doing. So it would be like picking up the violin and trying to, nail it right away. You can't. So you need to spend a little time practicing. But the fact is that when you start practicing, you're going to be discouraged right away because, again, you haven't done it in a long time and you're not very good at it. And your ambitions are so high because you want to be able to draw like a really seasoned artist, somebody who's done it for a long time. And the distance between the piece that you first make and the piece that you have in your mind is really great. So you are discouraged. So how do we overcome that? Well, part of it is this recognition that it's perfectly understandable that what you're doing initially isn't going to be that great. But it also comes down to a second important thing, which is you don't know how to see like somebody who draws. Because the way that we see generally is, it's a very efficient process. You look around at the things around you. Excuse me, I'm in New York City and it's a noisy place. You look around at the things you see and you tend to categorize them, to label them. Why? Because we're inundated with huge amounts of information all the time. And that information is so overwhelming to our brains that we have developed a system of categorization and labeling, pigeonholing things. So if we look at an object, we immediately try to identify it and to give it a name, and then we move on. So if I ask you to draw a mug, you have in your mind an idea of what a mug looks like. You have a little label for a mug. And so when I ask you to draw that, you don't necessarily look at a mug that carefully. You think you know what it looks like. You start to do a drawing. And what you find when you do that drawing is, best case, you're able to reproduce that symbol in your mind. Worst case, you're not quite able to. But in either case, that symbol is not really what a mug looks like because you haven't really studied a mug. You don't actually know what a mug looks like. So what I want you to do today is I want you to do an exercise that's going to take you away from those labels, and it's going to force you to actually look and to see something for what it truly is. And to do that, you're going to have to slow down as well. That's another problem, is you probably drew pretty quickly because you thought a mug is a fairly simple thing. What is it? It's basically, a rectangle with a handle on the side of it. So what I want you to do today is I want you to create a situation where you have a shape that you don't have a label for. And that shape is going to be several different mugs. I want you to take 3 mugs, let's say. And I want you to take those mugs and arrange them in one shape so that they kind of overlap each other and they form one picture. And then I want you to take a pen and I want you to very slowly examine the outside perimeter of that shape. So as you go, I want you to stop thinking about the fact that it's 3 mugs. I don't want you to draw that symbol of a mug 3 times. But instead what I want you to do is I want you to travel as if your pen was a car traveling through an unfamiliar landscape, a mountainous range. And the way that you would do that is you would travel one leg of the journey, and then you would travel the next leg, and then the next leg, and so forth, until you got to your destination. So we're going to break down this shape into little increments, and we're going to draw each one at a time. And so here's an example. I'm going to show you a little video which I made where I draw just that edge quickly, and you'll see that I go from point 1 to point 2 to point 3 and so forth around it. This is speeded up just because I don't have forever to show you this video, but you can watch it a few times and you'll see how it breaks down. So get a pen, get your sketchbook, and try this exercise of creating a shape out of several mugs. It could be glasses, it could be, you could throw a fork in there if you wanted to, but I just want you to draw the outline. You don't have to draw the interior, you don't have to draw the handles, the details, the shadows, of this and that. Just try seeing differently and see how it feels. And let's talk again next time. Thanks, bye.